Central Bank of the Gambia is in the process of modernizing the country's payments, clearing and settlement system infrastructure. The reforms, which came into effect on August 1, 2012, have radically overhauled the way the central bank and the 13 commercial banks in the country do business, especially the handling of cash, check clearing and securities settlement.
Payment systems, as you may know, facilitates transactions in an economy, and therefore the key objective of this modernization is to ensure that there is efficiency. Efficiency here can be interpreted in many forms, but essentially what the central bank hopes to achieve is to ensure that there is movement of funds at least cost. That is what efficiency is about. Movement of funds at least cost, but at the same time making sure that the funds get to the right beneficiary. This is what we hope to achieve in the banking system and the financial system of the country as a whole. But there are other related issues as far as the benefits are concerned.
It is part of a regional payment system initiative and is also an integral part of the prerequisites towards an effective West African monetary integration.
The West African Monetary Institute, which is based in Accra in Ghana, in collaboration with the Central Bank of the Gambia and other sister central banks, collaborated to implement what is called modern payment systems. This is essentially to modernize the payment systems in these three countries, and they are four countries rather, namely the Gambia, Sierra Leone, Guinea, and Liberia. The Gambia was chosen as the pilot site, and this project, for your information, is funded by the African Development Bank. So for the past 2 years, the central bank has been modernizing its payment systems.
The new payment systems encompass a set of instruments and means generally acceptable in making payments, institutional and organizational framework governing such payments, and the operating procedures and communications networks used to initiate and transmit payment information from payer to payee, thereby transferring value from one to the other.
The payment systems is a set of instruments, a set of procedures, rules, and the institutional framework that is ensuring the movement of funds from the payer to the payee. In short, this is what payment systems is all about.
We have also been having collaboration with the government IFMIS project, which is also the government financial management project that is responsible for the government accounts. And we have established connections now in which all the accounts of government can be remotely viewed by the Directorate of National Treasury, and in effect will improve also in terms of prompt receipt of all payments and receipts going into the account of the government. Plans are also underway to integrate GRA within the same module that we had with the DNT to improve on the revenue mobilization.
The reforms have been extensive in this area. We are collaborating with the commercial banks, which are the key stakeholders, but beyond the financial institutions, mainly the commercial bank, we are also collaborating with the Directorate of National Treasury under the IFMIS program. We are collaborating with Gambia Revenue Authorities. As one of the key objectives is to make sure that government revenue is paid into government account at the Central Bank of the Gambia as quickly as possible. In other words, indirectly, we want to assist government in their public financial management. These resources that are due to government must be available for implementation of government programs, and this is a key, deliverable of the system and an important, objective of the system as well. The central bank, together with the commercial banks, would also be working together, to ensure that there are improvements on the system. The systems have been in operation for nearly 6 months now, and they are found to be stable. Nevertheless, we will continue to work with the commercial banks and the solution providers, to bring about any improvement that would ensure that efficiency in the payment systems is achieved.
The key components of the financial reforms are the automated check processing, the automated check clearing ACP, ACH, the real-time gross settlement systems RTGS, and the security settlement system SSS.
And these two payments are the ACP, ACH, which takes into account checks and other direct credit payments to the account of beneficiaries. And also we have the RTGS also, which also take into account large value transactions. What we are doing here is to ensure that all large value transactions have immediate value, and hence the word real-time gross settlement. As soon as the funds are wired, either from the central bank or to the commercial banks, from the central bank's perspective, all those entries goes into the account of the beneficiary. So effectively, the value for those transactions, particularly the large value transactions, are credited immediately to the account of the beneficiary, and this, we believe, will be able to improve on the revenue mobilization of government in terms of revenue coming in. And then we also have the ACP, ACH, and the automated clearinghouse, which also take into all the other payments.
The automated clearing processing ACP system is a check scanning, imaging, truncation, and clearing system to handle the automation of check clearing among all the banks in the Gambia. The automated clearinghouse ACH system, on the other hand, provides the facility for all the participating banks to submit badges of debit and credit payments via electronic means, particularly for recurring payments such as salaries, insurance premiums, utility payments, amongst others. This electronic clearinghouse replaces the manual clearinghouse system, which brought together representatives of all the commercial banks in a laborious process of exchanging checks.
The manual clearing is done in a very, very tedious way. As you have seen during the demonstration, checks would have to become, and all the commercial banks would have to be present, and the exchange will be done, through the banks, all the 13 banks. And the net settlement at the end of the day is done in the central bank here. They would have to go to their commercial banks and distribute the check to the branches and the head office, and start inputting into the customer's account manually. And basically the minimum the check will be cleared is 3 days. It can go 4 days, 5 days, depending on the location.
The new clearinghouse enables all the banks to operate an electronic clearinghouse to process checks with a central site based at the central bank building.
Once we receive the checks from central banks, it comes through the interface, and once we receive the checks, we have an interface that picks the checks automatically, receive the files, and as the checks comes in, the interface reads the check.